Hey folks, welcome to Running Retro. Today we're going to be playing Metroid 1. So I have never played Metroid 1. I've tinkered with it a little bit when I first got my cart, but I haven't played it all the way through. I am using a map because, for those of you who don't know, this game does not have a map. And as much as I would like to explore the whole thing, that's really not that realistic in any reasonable time frame, and I wanted to experience the game. So we'll start right off there with the ball. I gotta love the morph ball. The short gun here is kind of obnoxious. I like the fact that in later series they changed that so that you just don't have to worry about that. And the gameplay is a little bit clunky. Everything feels like it's on ice, so it's like playing permanently under ice physics. You'll also note that you only started with 30 health at the beginning, and if you die or restart and use a continue code to continue your progress, then you still only start with 30 health. So that can definitely be a little frustrating. I had to be careful there because if you open a door and go through it and an enemy is right behind you, they will actually transition through the door with you and they'll hit you and you'll take damage. There's nothing you can do about it. So that can be immensely frustrating. You see a little bit of the slide here where I land and then immediately slide a little bit. That's what I'm talking about when I say ice physics. You also cannot duck and shoot in this game. So and you can't shoot down. So your mobility is really, really greatly hampered here. And of course, because I have the morph ball, but I don't have the bombs yet, these guys had to be taken out from a different platform because you can't reach them with a shot otherwise. As I said, I am using a map, so you're getting to see some of the efficiency is coming from the fact that I am using a map. I've also played a reasonable amount of other Metroids, so that helps here. Although it's probably the wrong way to go to start with other Metroids and then shift back to this one, because they had refined so much from everything in the genre that this definitely feels a little clunky. And jump up there, take damage, take a nice hit like a complete noob. Finally get missiles. One other difference between this game and ones later in the series are if you are full on something, then you don't necessarily get drops. You don't get drops that are limited only to what you need. If you are full on missiles, enemies can still drop missiles. If you are full on health, they can still drop health. And the drops are really, really, really random. In fact, it can be a little bit rough when you do need to grind something up. Because right here, I'm going to go on a spree where I need a lot of missiles for missile doors. And you'll note that health drops are 5 apiece, except for the large ones, which I was never able to figure out exactly which enemies drop the large ones. There's like one enemy that does, but for the most part, I couldn't quite figure out which ones did that, and that can be. And then the missiles can drop 2 apiece. So your resources are really limited here. This isn't guaranteed damage, but it is some of this stuff is really hard to dodge. It can be really frustrating. So, my initial impressions, just to give you a small idea, I like this game, but it frustrated me a lot. And even though I like it, I don't have that much of a desire to play it all the way through again anytime particularly soon. And it really does make you appreciate how good people who can run this game quickly really are. The skill cap for this is kind of crazy because it is really clunky. Or at least it feels really clunky to me initially. Getting Samus to do her basic jump versus her flip like that can be a little bit interesting. I don't really think you can. Maybe you can move faster than these guys, but I just never dared it. Now, I had experienced one of the enemies going through the door with me and dealing damage to me. So I knew to wait there, and then I also knew that I was going to need more missiles here. But we will get the bomb. Now, basically, the next section is just going to be going straight for another missile door, and as you can see, well, now I have 4 missiles, but that was a lucky drop. That was a lucky drop. So I've got to go straight to the next thing, and I'll need to find missiles somewhere between here and there, which is really not guaranteed. At least I'll get some health here. Kind of four missiles out of 5. That's, you know, that's enough to start working our way towards the next thing. But so I have played the most of Super Metroid 2 on the Game Boy because as a kid that was the only one I had. So some of this stuff feels a little similar to that. I think actually having that experience first and foremost kind of helps for playing this. I hate this guy. There's a thing where if you get hit and you get knocked under those pillars into the sand and you're taking constant damage while being there underneath the sand, it can be really hard to get out from under them, especially with how much damage it does and how fast. So yeah, that can be a little frustrating. And note that while you're on that sand, you can stand on it for a minute. I don't know how long you can stand on it. Here I'm going to do a grind for those last 2 missiles, and it takes a minute. This is what I'm talking about with the random drops. I sit here, grind this for a couple minutes, get nothing, respawn these guys, get nothing, get nothing, although literally nothing this time. Still get nothing. Note I'm full on health, so they're still dropping health. I just need 1 missile to get through that door. There we go. Yeah. That took a bit of time. Kind of crazy, really. And now I'm out of missiles again, so I'm gonna have to go get more missiles. At least Ice Beam is nice. There are 2 beams in this. There's the Ice Beam and there's the Wave Beam. And the Wave Beam is... I was hoping to get missiles there, obviously, since I'm going to need those again. The Wave Beam is good, and it does a lot of damage, but since you need the Ice Beam for the very end, and the Ice Beam is... I like it more for Ridley. I don't know whether that's correct or not, but for me, I definitely like Ice Beam more. So, given that, I'm really not sure if there's ever a reason to pick up the Wave Beam. Like, the Ice Beam doesn't do as much damage, but I mean, I guess if you have no idea where you're going, then you pick up the Wave Beam and that's fine. But if you are using a map, so maybe I sort of ruined my experience because of that, but getting the screw attack is not the hardest thing, and it's still the better thing. I don't know why I didn't jump there. I think that was just a boneheaded moment. Well, I don't need to jump, right? Jumping in a Metroid isn't important. The back and forth is pretty intense here too, because yeah, there's just a lot of it. It's just a lot of back and forth. But I mean, you know, that's a Metroid. That's not a bad thing. In fact, the way this game opens up is... I really don't have any complaints about that. Maybe you can get the items and the weapons a little early. So here again, gotta farm for missiles because the door at the end of this hallway is a missile door. I'm getting reasonably lucky here with my farm. I thought I had one missile there, and I was just wrong. I'm really not a fan of those enemies. They're not hard once you get used to their pattern, but they can be a little bit obnoxious. Basically, they won't go back up to the ceiling, as far as I can tell, most of the time, until you actually jump. So the reason I'm going all the way to the door, even though I know I can't open it, is just to reset all the enemies so I get, you know, the maximum number of enemies. Still haven't gotten that last missile. Plenty of health. Don't need health, although by the time I'm done here, if I hadn't gotten it, I guess me playing poorly and getting hit a lot wouldn't help that. Still grinding. Still no missile. Two of these guys is the worst. The worst. Still going for missiles. So, the reason I leave all these things in is because it's a pretty good way to illustrate just like how long it can take if you need to grind out one thing of missiles. Like, that took forever. And when you get a little bit later, it's not that bad because, you know, you have enough upgrades that it's not the worst in the world. Like, you've got 250 missiles, so you're kind of fine. But at the beginning here, where you just have 5, and you need a ton of missiles back to back to back to back. Actually, I think... No, that's not quite true. Yeah, but you do need missiles back to back to back here. That could be kind of annoying. Finally, we get the long beam. So this feels pretty good, because now we're kind of playing Metroid. You know, Metroid as I'm used to playing Metroid, with the actual ability to shoot things. Whatever that is. Maybe ability is a little bit of an overstatement. But that's okay. I don't know how I feel about the fact that the ice freezes, unfreezes, freezes, unfreezes. There are a couple moments where it's really frustrating. And there are other moments where it's really useful. Like, I don't actually think that there's a right or a wrong way that they could have done that. I started to go the wrong way there. But I kind of like the way the Ice Beam handles in this game. I kind of wish, in fact, that they would go back to that maybe in a later Metroid. Although, since they're not making Metroids very aggressively these days, maybe that's a little bit of a wish that I'll never see come to fruition. But if they'd worked it into the actual mechanics of the game a little bit more, or made it a little bit more of a part of it, it doesn't feel like it's natural in this. Like, it feels like they made a decision there and then decided to go with it, but it doesn't feel like it was really intended for a mechanic. It just, like, that's just the way it got programmed. So there's an E-tank on the left hand side of this up there in the ceiling, and I'm trying to get this guy to come over and give me a chance to actually acquire this E-tank. But I didn't realize you could just shoot that guy. When I kept seeing him respawn, I realized, wait a minute, this guy keeps respawning. Maybe you can just use him. And I think you're supposed to have the high jump. Love that missile drop there. I think you're supposed to have the high jump before you get that, but I'm not sure. So if you know, put in the comments what the actual item order should be there. Because I did that. I actually did end up playing this again afterwards. And then I also played it on the Switch. And I had a lot of trouble getting that E-tank without the high jump. So I think I just got that guy in the perfect spot and the perfect height to be able to actually acquire it. And because of the deaths resetting you to the last checkpoint you were at, the checkpoints are the elevators and the beginning of the game. I really, really, really don't want to die. So I'm going through this and farming health where it's convenient, just so I don't have to worry about that too much. And taking a little bit extra time doing that. Wishing I had more missiles. But so it is. And we're backtracking to where we got the bombs from. Isn't that nice? This backtrack, I don't like this backtrack. This backtrack annoys me. And you will see the next area. There are some moments in here that I find kind of tilting. And I don't know, because I was the one who was tilted. I don't know whether it comes across in my gameplay. I find it hard to believe that it doesn't. Like, you know, I thought I could just take that damage and get up there. Instead, no, it knocks you back just far enough that you can't actually get down. But oh well. I guess I'll have to put up with it. As I said, I do know that there are some missiles here. Take a little bit of damage, but it took a second for me to figure out the pattern on those, but they're not too bad. Ah, the missiles. So this is the reason right here that I actually did use a map. If it were just figuring it out normally, Like, I played Super Metroid the first time without using a map, and I played Metroid 2 the first time without using a map. Although, Metroid 2 is a little bit different because since it was a handheld, it was intended to be a little bit more linear. But here, since this is not linear, and I knew there were some walls that there's no way to tell unless you just bomb everything. I mean, I've definitely heard about this game, so it's not like I was going into this blind in the sense that I knew nothing about Metroid. I definitely knew something about the original Metroid, but since there are walls like that there's just no way to know where they are, that's what made me decide to use the map. I have the patience to sit down and bomb every single corner, but I also have to get things done. And, you know, sometimes that is just a priority. Oh, I was actually having trouble getting up to that platform for a second. I was thinking, man, why don't you just hold on the jump button longer? Come on, guy, what are you doing? I'm just not jumping high enough. That's the problem. I hate that guy. Not my least favorite enemy, though. Not my least favorite enemy. That's coming up later. I'm glad I got the E-tank there. The one extra energy tank. That health is obviously very useful through here. So I never have to backtrack here. And that's why I just decided to go get those missiles right now. Because at least once I go get the missiles, then they're gotten and they're done. I don't ever have to worry about it again. That guy's kind of obnoxious. I don't know about you guys, but these guys look like sheep to me. I don't know why. I did watch some of... This made me want to play the GBA Zero mission. So, yeah, that's these things show up as like fiery sprites, which, you know, they're in a room full of lava. That kind of makes sense. But at the end of the day, these things still look like sheep to me. And you can't convince me otherwise. They're really fluffy sheep. I don't know why I decided to... There's kind of two branching paths here that you can... I mean, you have to go down to progress. I don't know why I took the time to grab that, but I think it's because all that stuff felt so precious at this point that I was like, man, I just really want to... I really want to go grab it just because I'm so used to not having any. Couldn't fight that compulsion. So yeah, you need to go down and to move along progression. This guy, you have to freeze in the perfect spot. That's why I've sped this up here. So if you don't get it in the perfect spot, then you can't roll down that way. And I had a lot of trouble with that. So I got shot in the butt there. So that is another ice beam. There are multiple ice beams in this game. Although, I think to get that one, you need the ice beam. To have an ice beam locked behind an ice beam doesn't make any sense to me, but sure. I just can't get out of here. I'm literally just stuck. Nothing I can do. I'm sure there's something you can do, but well, I'm not sure there's something you can do. Without high jump, I think I'm just dead, and I accept my fate there. So as you'll see, now I go back to here, and lo and behold, 30 health, period. Ugh. And that's really unfortunate. So I have a lot of trouble getting through here. I mean, not trouble in the sense of it's difficult, just trouble in the sense that I really want to get some health before I go to the next area, because that lava is going to hurt if I fall into it, and the enemies around there hurt, and then, everything hurts. Again, though, going up this sort of the same situation as I was in, where, now note, I got all that stuff, and, note how much health these guys take. Yeah, that was just, I don't know why I picked up the ice again, but 8 health, not really a great place to be, not with the next area being riddled with enemies. Yep, there just was no getting out of that one. That's death number 2. Here we go again. This spot's starting to look familiar. So you can see where I played some of this before, and just when I got the cartridge originally, and kind of knew a little bit of what I was doing. And then here we are again, where I clearly don't know what I'm doing. And I'm having to learn as I go. And I'm afraid it isn't the prettiest. So I'm full on missiles, and I get nothing but missile drops. Yep, take a hit there, and here we go. Get the high jump, because the high jump will allow me to get out of that spot and deal with what's going on. Stop for a minute to think about what I'm doing, and I decide to go and get screw attack. I think I can get away with this. I mean, obviously, if I just do something remarkably stupid like that, then I can't. But I figured I might be able to make a run for it and get through that part. But alas, no luck. Alas, no luck. So here we are again. And this room is starting to look and feel very familiar. I just take a dumb hit there. I know I can't go down there and get that one. Try and farm a little health. Notice that I got hit one time, and that took that much health from me. And now it's taken me until now to get back to even basic health almost. Finally, I'm starting to make a little headway here. Inside now, I've got a high jump. I can go back up here and get through this nonsense again. Those guys are a lot easier to bomb, but high jump definitely makes this a little bit more tolerable. And I realized I don't need to get the ice. Why get the ice when I already have the ice? That's just silly. And felt like that was a pretty good jump, avoiding everything there. So finally, we can see a little bit of new stuff. Now, I had an idea. I've heard about this section, or these sections, in the original Metroid for a long time. Yeah, there we go. There's all of our health gone, and that was just I just shouldn't have done that. That was just dumb. But, live and learn. I get a much better idea here for what I can do. After I shoot him, I'm like, wait, I can just jump up there and go in the door. Hey, look, smart. That's gonna probably kill me? Yeah. I should have just taken the one hit and not frozen it, but I panicked. I panicked and I paid the price. Once more with feeling. And here we go again. Yeah, you definitely see a lot of the same things in this game. Unless you're just good enough to do it without dying. I really didn't want that guy to get frozen there because I really wanted to try and get the health, but you know, what are you gonna do? Take one hit there off that octopus and bam, all that health gone. I'm just back at starting health. And this is where I started to get kind of frustrated and tilted. I mean, I was tilted before this. But I'm tired of going through this area. I am tired of fighting this stuff. I'm ready to just go up here, get the upgrades, leave, and never come back. It was so frustrating, too, because I felt like I'd done such a good job dodging everything last time. Look how close that was. That was just messy. I got lucky. I didn't dodge that from skill. I just kind of got lucky that they didn't hit me. But I was really hoping to have a slightly different outcome. Although I did learn from my mistakes there. And here, that was so unfortunate. I was kind of panicked that I was going to get hit here, but this is not the worst. I finally managed to get under there. 1 health. Hey, as long as you're not at 0, you're still alive, right? So, I'll take it. I mean, at this point, what else can I do, right? And get rewarded with a missile upgrade. I can't remember. I know this guy's gonna wreck me, so I definitely take care of him real fast. But I don't know if there's another missile past him. I think there is, because I'm still going to the right. And there's an enemy there. I think it's worth finding out. Those guys can also drop large healths. That one didn't, but they can. And another missile. Now, if it were me and I had the choice, I would death warp here. Unless, of course, there's a reason not to death warp. Yeah, I'm kind of desperate for health here, and I know it, so I figure I should take the enemies that I know how to deal with and see what I can get. Door just closes right in my face. Kind of obnoxious. Check up top. If I'd looked at my map, I would have known that there wasn't anything up top, but I didn't, and I didn't. So, here we are. I don't know why I go back in here. I think I was considering. Oh, I was just thinking if I kill this one guy and he drops a health, then that's great for me. What did I forget about an upgrade? Ah, it is a new area. They all look so similar at the beginning. It's really hard to tell sometimes. Yeah, I clearly don't know. Yeah, I was panicked there too, because if that guy touches me, he does so much damage, I die. I should have just frozen him, jumped over him, gotten that last missile, and never gone that way again. Instead, here we are here again. I like how the music on fast forwards like do 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 do. Like you, that guy he came after me. He just decided that my time had come. No ifs, ands, or buts. My time had come. That's okay. That's okay. We don't have to go through too much more. get through here, take it relatively safe, make sure I don't die because it's kind of embarrassing too, you know, I mean, when you act like a complete chucklehead in a game, and then, you know, I know people are going to see this, it's like, oh man, I would have liked to have not acted like a complete chucklehead, but there's the guy. I just decided to take care of him nice and fast. Yeah, that's the way. That's the way. I start to get his rhythm down. And a missile. I did find out that you could just... having trouble picking up a missile, that's kind of embarrassing. But I did find out here that there was a thing where they will dive down next to you, but not actually do too much to harm you. So, if you can get them in that pattern, then you kind of don't have to worry about them. Take a couple dumb hits, but not too bad. Alright, get out of there. And as I said, I know that I'm looking for the screw attack next, so I just decide to start going straight for the screw attack. And how in the world, when you are first playing this game, you are supposed to know that that's where you need to go, beats the heck out of me. Again, it must have just been you shoot absolutely everything, anything and everything. I don't like this guy. He's kind of obnoxious. And this jump is so rough. Yeah, there we go. I figured if I just created a two-step bridge for myself that I'd be in pretty good shape. So that went reasonably smoothly. Reasonably smoothly. And I just decided to take one to the face there for, you know, effectively no reason. Getting my bearings. I don't really know what's ahead here. I could farm those guys for some health, but I don't. I mean, in hindsight, maybe I should have. But I also wanted to keep my momentum going. And I didn't want to pause too much and take too many moments where I wasn't actually moving forward, because not only is that kind of boring to watch, but it also feels a lot better if you actually are making some progress forward. Like, if you just stop. I don't know. I also felt a lot more confident about moving forward. Like, I was a little bit sharper and paying a little bit more attention when I had less health. So, and now we get the screw attack. And this helps immensely. I don't think I really would have wanted to play much of the game without it. I do take a death warp here because I just want to get out of there and go play a different part of the game. I really don't like this section. So I decided to head out of here. I know the various suits there. I'm seeing how much damage I'm taking, and I'm seeing sort of what's going on, and I know that at the end of the day, if I really want to be playing this efficiently and doing much of anything, then I'm gonna need to reduce my damage. I don't know why sometimes you do the screw attack and sometimes you don't. I noticed that a lot where, you know, I was intending to do the screw attack and then it just didn't. And there I was in the screw attack, and you're supposed to have iframes when you're in the screw attack, but for some reason I just took damage anyway. So I never figured out exactly what that was and when you don't take damage when you're in the screw attack and when you do. So yeah, even though the screw attack theoretically makes you invincible, it sure didn't. It sure didn't. At least in a few things. Though I did get a surprise with the screw attack that I did not know about, so get to see that in a little bit. Well, I was trying to get that guy and get another little bit of energy, but I just missed. I don't know where I'm going. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. I thought I remembered going in the wrong direction. Oh, no? I'm confused. I'm confusing myself. Look at that. Took damage again. I was in the screw attack and still got hit. I wonder if it's like it's alternating frames or something like that. I don't know. Maybe I should look that up. But that was really frustrating because it's like, okay, I know the screw attack, and if I have the screw attack, then I can just use it to avoid taking damage. Cool, great. No, not in this game. Not in this game. That's a different Metroid game. Lost track of where I was in the room. It all looks so similar. Never know. I don't like these guys. This enemy. I land in the exact one area in this whole thing where you can take damage. I'm tired of those guys spawning in, so I tried to get cute. And here I tried to get cute, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to take damage from the block spawning in on me, so I was like, okay, I guess I just won't. I'll just take my time here. And we'll see how that goes. It went alright. Went alright. So as I said, I'm going for the Varia suit here. I really don't like those guys because it's really hard to screw attack in this area. Oh, it's the one. Yeah, that was kind of dumb. It's the one area where there's nothing but just straight up blocks. I forgot about that too. Get on that door. Get the door. Not too shabby. Yeah, screw attack makes these guys way more palatable too. Goodness, I actually have health again. However that happened, I don't know. Take those guys, and they just drop a ton of health for me. So finally starting to feel kind of decent. Not the best, not the worst, but somewhere around there. And we get the Varia suit. Alright guys, that's it for this one. We'll pick it up again next week and see how it rolls.